One thing all Wharram catamaran owners have in common is they like to have their lady tightly bound. I'm talking of course about their catamaran. Loose lashings and she will sail like a pig. Drum tight lashings and she becomes a greyhound, able to be powered up and driven hard. Wharrams are a very popular breed of catamarans, or more accurately double canoes. Lashed together with rope, they have the most proven safety record of any multi-hull. These designs deliberately lack bridge houses to minimise windage and increase safety by keeping the centre of gravity low, while keeping bridge deck clearance high. So instead of a bridge house to join the hulls together, they use cross beams. Cross beams can place large loads at their attachment points to the hulls. To prevent failure at these stress points, rope lashings are used. It's the same principle as the tree that bends to the wind, but doesn't break. We relashed Luckyfish in February 2017 on the island of Grenada. Terence O'Connell runs a boat care service for absentee owners. Through Terry, I was able to arrange Kevin, Shantai and Solomon to provide the manpower to do the lashings. The Tiki 38 has 12 lashings, 3 on the outside and 3 on the inside of each hull. Let's get the jargon out of the way. The lashings are comprised of turns. The turns provide all the strength to the finished lashing. Each turn passes over the top of the crossbeam and under a lashing strake on the hull. Once the turns are completed, the frapping is applied. The frapping provides extra tension to the turns. Well, good morning everyone. It's lashing day. I've arranged with Terry to come along with 3 or 4 guys to help us heave on the stick. I've just had this piece of oak lathed up. Hopefully it's got the strength. We're going to get these guys trained up on the marlin spike hitch and also the inseam lashing method that we learned from Hokulea. Let's do that again. Do that again, you know, that's just too fast. Come on.
It's just like you lay it on top,
Yeah.
you flip it over, and then you just roll it under like that, and just flip it over like that.
Through the end like that, okay.
Yeah, and the thing is good, and then,
Yeah.
so you know how I told you you've got 2 guys on each side?
Sure,
So
yeah.
you would pull
You
on
can
the
imagine,
hook up
yeah.
inside. So the bigger stick
Where you go,
would be
go
like
on.
this.
Let's see it, eh?
And we'd pull it together. Yeah, you got a bigger stick.
So it should be an interesting day and a fun day. Well, this is the rope I'll be using to replace the 8mm braid, which has stood up pretty well for 5 years. There's no sign of any wear on the rope. If we follow what Bruce was saying on Hokulea, the braid simply can't be stretched out. You can't get all the stretch out with manpower. So I'm replacing it with this 6mm or 1/4 inch polyester or Dacron from New England Ropes. It's got a breaking strength of 2,000 pounds. It's 3-ply laid rope. Hopefully it's going to be up to the task. Because of the reduction in the strength of the 6mm over the 8mm, the number of turns around the beam and hull needs to be increased, and I'm hopeful that we'll get 8 turns in, whereas the braid had just 6. From the calculations of the strength of the 2 ropes, 8 turns on this should provide strength equivalent to 6 turns in the 8mm. For the 6mm, it has a 4% stretch before breaking, which is pretty good. With the guys heaving on the stick, we're going to be able to pull out probably half of that stretch, leaving what, a couple of percent maybe for, you know, shock loadings on the boat, which is what the lashings are really there for, just to absorb those peak loadings from wave impacts and that sort of thing. The principle is to try and eliminate the stretch as much as possible to make the hull as rigid as possible, so we can get all the energy from the sails straight into the hulls and into forward propulsion. Any flex in the boat dissipates that driving energy and just reduces the efficiency of the boat. So rigidity is key, with just a small amount of shock absorption left for those extreme loadings. It took us 2 days to relash Luckyfish, but before we could get started, the guys had to learn the marlin spike hitch. Okay, one more demonstration. You got it, man. Holding that twist, that's it. Oh yeah.
Wow, you got it, you got it. I got it.
Who's next?
One more here. I got it, man.
Pressure's on, Kevin.
Yeah.
You got it. You got it. That's looking good.
Yes.
Yeah, man. Is that first time, is it? First time, yeah? The lashing begins with a starter rope, tied to the lashing strake with a round turn and 2 half hitches. A bowline is tied at the correct length in the other end. The bowline should be positioned at the point where you want the frapping to begin. The lashing rope is secured to the starter rope with a bowline. Nice job, guys. I told the guys that their objective was to try to break the rope. At 2,150 pounds breaking strain, that didn't seem possible, but it would get the lashings as tight as can be. The first turn begins against the inside edge of the beam pad and against the hull under the lashing strake spacer. Each turn crosses over the previous turn on top of the beam.
On this side. And then so you have this one that you need to lock, yeah? So you see you're going to go over this one,
Okay.
but you lock between the seam here like this.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you come up, you're going to come up between the seam and then lock.
It takes a lot of force to pop the turns into the seam. I want to hear that popping sound.
Done. All right. Oh, look at it? Yeah.
You got it?
That's beautiful. Yeah, when they pull down, I just want to film it.
Done. All right. Oh, look at it? Yeah.
As the rope is passed from under to over, it is pinched to hold the tension. This process is aided by the friction from popping the rope into the seam. Tension is applied from the underside and the top side on every turn.
Go on the inside and go. All right. Go on.
Once we completed 8 turns, we passed the end of the lashing through the bowline on the other end, released the starter rope and pulled down hard before securing with several half hitches. Finally, we applied the frapping. This can be done with a separate rope or the tail of the lashing. We wove the frapping under and over and applied tension on each side before securing with several half hitches. Small wedges aided this process by providing a space between the turns and the lashing pad. This is very much an organic process, and we found that each lashing improved as we went around the boat. These guys have got this stuff so well worked out now.
You want that rope down there?
They're going to be teaching others how to do it.
Yeah, they're right here.
When we started on the inside lashings, the boys did manage to break the lashing rope, probably due to friction and heat over the bowline as we completed the turns. This made me reconsider completing the whole boat with 6mm, as it was very much a test and not the 8mm double braid recommended by the designers. So we used the old 8mm double braid on the inside of the boat as a precaution, and would monitor how the 6mm works on the outside over time. We left the 2 inside aft lashings until last, as these 2 undergo the most load on the Tiki 38. By this time, the guys were really working as a team. The tension they were able to apply on those last 2 lashings made me realise that, with experience, there would be nothing wrong with 8mm double braid all around the boat, using just manpower and the methods shown to us by Hokulea.
The hull, and then comes back in and over.
Yes.
So each one we have 4.
By way of backup, if you do find a lashing is becoming loose on a long voyage, as we found on our transatlantic crossing, you can add a wedge until the lashing can be redone. With the lashings comes the ability to dismantle the boat for shipping. For example, the Tiki 38 can be transported anywhere in the world in two 40-foot high cube shipping containers.
So one of the neat things about the Wharram is this lashing stroke on both the inside and outsides of both hulls. It's so useful for so many things. But one of the main ones is scrubbing the hull. It gives you something to hold on to. Apart from being a good thing if you've got a man overboard as well, it's something for them to grip on the sides. Yeah, so that's quite easy. I can get right to the base of the keel. It's not really any effort at all. It saves you having to use ropes and goodness knows what to try and get down.
Well everyone, we hope you enjoyed this episode. We'd like to give a special thank you to our patrons. It's because of patrons like you that make our productions sustainable, so please, if you haven't already, consider becoming a patron for as little as $1 a video and become part of the Luckyfish story. Feel free to question, comment and give us a like and sub below. Until next time, thank you for watching.